Hello, my name is David Lee, and for my second cool theory assignment, I chose to explore minimalism, which is a learning theory designed for the purpose of instruction. And initially, it was created for people to learn how to do computer-related training. It was initially devised by John Carroll. And the theory proposes that learners build upon their existing knowledge by removing unnecessary and obstructive learning methods, which allows for development through active learning and error recognition. The theory is actually based on four principles. And the first principle suggests that learners should be allowed to start on their tasks immediately and meaningful tasks. It says people who learn best in this theory prefer being told what to do and then giving them a chance to actually start it without any delay. The second principle suggests minimizing the amount of reading and passive forms of training by allowing users to fill in the gaps themselves. Avoid giving learners excessive amounts of reading material or written or oral instructions. Rather, give them short guides or short tasks in order to get the basic background information, but still provide the full text or be available in case further guidance is needed. Learners who subscribe to this theory would probably prefer checklists be given to them after the assignment is complete in order to identify mistakes or things that they might have left out. The third principle suggests that you provide learners with an opportunity to recognize when they've done something wrong. So error recognition recovery activities should be included in the instruction. So whatever the task, learners should be able to understand why they did something incorrectly, uh, or why something did not work. When mistakes are identified, they can learn from the mistakes and then move on. As mistakes occur less frequently, learners gain more confidence, which makes total sense. And the last principle suggests that making all learning activities self-contained and independent of a sequence. So being able to do something in no particular order at all. Learners thrive from learning a variety of tasks at once and not in any specified order. They don't necessarily need to learn the whole process from beginning to end in one shot. Carroll actually describes an example of this in a book he wrote where guided exploration or the minimalist approach was used to teach something. Uh, and he was trying to teach somebody how to use a word processing software. And the training materials included a set of 25 task cards, which was going to replace a 90 plus page manual. And each card corresponded with a meaningful task, was self-contained, and included error recognition recovery information for that task in case they did something wrong. In addition to that, the information provided on the cards was not a complete step-by-step set of instructions. Instead, it consisted of ideas or hints about what needed to be done. When comparing the use of the cards versus the manual, learners actually completed the task in about half the time with the cards, which supported the effectiveness of the minimalist design. And I chose this theory because I'm actually the type of person who likes to solve problems by myself and for myself. I like being thrown into situations where I'm forced to figure things out, and I like the challenge and know that I learn quicker through experimenting and hands-on learning. I get better by failing and seeing what I did wrong. If I make mistakes, they tend to stick with me. I am actually hard on myself, which can be good when I'm trying a task multiple times. And I tend to work hard to avoid those mistakes and force myself to try to do something better or learn from my mistakes. And when learning consists of large amounts of reading and listening, students have the potential to become bored or distracted, which leads to a lack of understanding of the content and concepts. And if the teaching doesn't provide multiple opportunities to practice and doesn't give you an opportunity to see what you've done wrong, or feedback is delayed or non-existent, the learning is actually hindered. As a result, students are less motivated, and although they achieve a level of competence, it's slow and learners don't actually live up to their full potential. However, when the opposite is true, and learners actually have a bunch of opportunities to practice existing skills, and where error recognition and background support is present. And by in obstructive learning and materials are removed, students actually learn quicker and then confidence increases. One thing that's really important to note is that Carroll actually devises theory to allow learners, particularly kinesthetic learners, to build upon existing knowledge, and therefore there's an expectation that the learner has some prior knowledge of the subject being taught. And if there is no foundation, the theory actually might not work at all. It can actually be applied to my experience or any of my students' experiences with using Pictochart, actually. Um, Before discovering Pictochart, the phrase infographic was not even in my vocabulary. It wasn't actually until I began taking classes for this program did I learn about Web 2.0 and tools that were available on the internet. And then when trying to find a creative way to present information for a class, I came across Pictochart on a library blog. Immediately, I was drawn to kind of the aesthetic features of it, the fact that I could create a digital poster, and found myself curious about how I could create one myself. I watched an online tutorial. It went over some of the basic features of the app, and the rest I actually had to learn for myself. So whenever I came to a problem or a feature I wanted to add, the only way I could learn how to do it was to guess and check or use trial and error. And if I was stuck, I tried to use the frequently asked questions or search for the answers through their help function, but mainly I learned as I went along. I made plenty of mistakes, and there's still a lot to learn, but over time I grew more and more confident with the program. And this could be true for any presentation software like VoiceThread or Prezi. We all have had experiences with um, what is it, PowerPoint and Keynote. So we kind of have the basic features and functions. We have some prior knowledge about how to use certain features and functions and what we want when we create a presentation. So we just have to laterally move that over into a new program and figure out how that new program uh, we're able to do that on a new program. It's the same thing with Google searches. Sometimes students have to figure out, they have to type in multiple times what they want to search, and they have to figure out what do I have to type in to get or to yield the result that I need. Not just searches, but articles and anything like that. So I really like the minimalism theory, and I think it's a great way or a great approach to learning. Thank you.